Hey everybody, it's Laura, and today we are taking things outside. We are here at the Battleship USS Alabama. We're going to do a quick tour of that and the USS Drum Submarine. This is going to be probably a good few hours, so let's go ahead, head in, and get started. Now we're going to start off with the USS Drum Submarine. That's what we are walking toward right now. This one is out of the water. It used to be in the water, but after, again, storm damage, they did move this one to above ground, and now you have to climb these stairs to access this. One thing I want to point out to you is if you are afraid of heights, then this one might not be for you, because you do have to climb these stairs and you have to cross this little bridge just to get to the top of the submarine. I also want you to be aware that the top of this is very slick. Whether you're going on this tour or the Battleship tour, one of the most important things I need to stress to you is to wear sensible, comfortable shoes. I really don't recommend any kind of flip-flop or sandal, not only because of the slipperiness, but because of the amount of climbing and walking that you're going to be doing. You're really going to want some sort of comfortable shoe. Any time of year, no matter if there are a lot of people or a small amount of people, one of the most important things that you are going to need to do these tours is patience. These are tight spaces, so many people are trying to go at the same time. Patience is going to be vital in these tours. A lot of the history and the facts about both this submarine and the battleship, when we get to that later on, are posted within the museums. You're moving at such a fast pace and you're in such tight quarters that you're not really able to take the time to read as much as you probably want to. So I do want to share just a little bit of history and some facts with you. And since we are in the USS Drum right now, I figured I'd start with that. The USS Drum was laid down on September 11, 1940 in Maine. This is going to make this the oldest American submarine on display at this time. It is 311 feet and 9 inches in the length and holds a capacity of 72 crew members. This sub is going to be the 12th in its class and the first of its class to enter combat during World War II. It holds a capacity of 24 torpedoes, and it became part of Battleship Memorial Park on May 18, 1969. This is also making this the oldest of its class that is still in existence today. A fun fact about the insignia for the USS Drum is that it was actually drawn by Walt Disney. That's pretty cool. Alright guys, so I told you about sensible shoes. One thing I want to stress to you also, especially for the submarine, is that if you are claustrophobic or you are prone to get panicky in tight situations, this one might be one that you want to skip, because this submarine is so compact. There's so much going on. Your travel space is very tight. As you can see here, the doorways are lifted, so you are having to raise your feet and duck your head while going through these tight spaces. So just kind of know your limit on that a little bit, and be aware that there are going to be tons of people in here. It's not just going to be, one or two people at a time. You are in here with quite a few people in a single file line in a tight space. Now, it could be that we're just not used to these tight spaces and small little doorways, but it seemed that each time we went through one, the door spaces got smaller as you went. So just kind of see if you notice that if you go on this tour. It kind of is a psychological thing. Is it really getting to be a tighter space, or are we just more aware of it the further we go on this tour? Y'all see this bathroom right here on the left? Yeah, I'm talking about that one with the cage. There's no door. Now, I don't know if this is just for the museum purposes so that you can see, but yet people can't actually access anything in there, or if that's the way it really is. But there's no door. And then right here on the right are the showers. Again, you've got just one small curtain here. I guess if you're going to be on this, you're going to have to kind of say goodbye to privacy. you that it seemed like the space was getting smaller as we went, at this last stretch here, guys, I actually was able to get a shot of the floor. This was the tightest space of all. You barely had your feet's width to walk here. You see that? That's the only walk space that you had. So I can tell you definitely, for real, at the end here, that was definitely the most narrow part of this whole tour. So just take your time, watch where you're stepping, be very aware of where your feet are placed, because at the end here, it could be very easy to hurt yourself. Being that space is limited, the stairs on both sides, whether you're going down or you're going up out of the submarine, they are also going to be very steep. So again, with the sensible shoes, I think it's very, very important to wear the right kind of shoe for safety reasons on this, the stairs being a very big part of that. That concludes the tour of the USS Drum Submarine. We're going to head over now to the USS Alabama Battleship. It's now time to go ahead and start walking this little incline here to board the USS Alabama Battleship. Now, once you are on the battleship, it is huge. It is a little bit of sensory overload. Don't be expecting to get everything done in a few minutes or even an hour. It is going to take time. There are multiple tours available. You can follow the arrows depending on color on which tour you'd like to take, depending on what you want to see, whether you want to go down into the ship or climb higher on the outside of the ship. So again, just take your time and be aware that there's a lot going on here. But for right now, we're just going to kind of look at the outside of things and head toward the stern of the ship. For the battleship, the keel was laid on February 1st, 1940 in Virginia. During World War II, the USS Alabama was active in the North Atlantic in 1943, then in the South Pacific. As far as the ship itself, it has a length of 680 feet. It weighs in at 45,000 tons, and at its peak time, it housed 2,500 crew members. During the war, it did lead the American fleet into Tokyo Bay on September 5th, 1945, but it now resides here in Mobile, Alabama, as part of the historic landmark and memorial to the millions. Since becoming part of the historical memorial in 1965, the battleship has seen over 15 million visitors. It was funny, guys. The niece and nephews weren't too sure if they really wanted to go in this one or not, but once they actually saw my dad go in, they decided, hey, yeah, this is something I want to try too. This one, I have to tell you, is very, very tight, and you really have to duck low on this one. So if that's not something you can or want to do, then this one might be a pass for you. Now the doors on this one right here, as you saw him just go through there, are so much smaller than on the other parts of the ship or even the sub. There was no way I was going to try and go through that one, so that's why I just kind of filmed through this window here, and you can see a little bit, but there was no way I was trying that door. As I mentioned earlier, there are different tours that you can do once you're on the ship, and they are color-coded. Right here, pretty much, is going to be the yellow tour, and it starts off leading you to the bathrooms. That can be very important if you have kids especially. And that's kind of just a tour just to bring you right here around this inner part of the ship, the bathrooms, and then to take you right back out to the deck. Now this room that we're fixing to go in here is a pretty large open space, one of the biggest of the ship that you're able to tour. Now you'll notice that I don't pan over too much to the left side of the room, and that's because they were having a birthday party. So apparently if you schedule to have a party on the ship, this is the room that will happen. Again, it's pretty close to the start of the tour, so you have easy access to get in and out of the ship without having to navigate your way too much. Then began the green tour. That tour is a little bit more extensive, and it takes you below deck. It's going to take you deeper into the ship a little bit. Again, kind of following your signs here, as you can see on that wall. Again, make sure that you're paying attention to where you're walking. None of these doors are flush with the ground. They're all up, so you have to raise your legs. Make sure you're clearing your head as well before you go through them, or you're going to end up hitting your shin or your head, so just be aware. You do decide to take the green tour, you will quickly realize that this battleship pretty much was its own little town, its own community on the water. They had pretty much everything. Later on, you'll see an infirmary. Here you have basically a tailor to repair uniforms. They have an eye surgeon. They have dentists. They have everything that you need on this ship because you're going to be out at sea for long, prolonged periods of time. So they needed everything that you would need in everyday life, and they had that provided for them. Coming up now in this next little room here, you can see that they kind of have the window blacked out with just a kind of a peephole open. And that is because these are rooms where you can actually stay overnight. Now, last that I know, they were like open to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I'm not really sure if the birthday parties are allowed to stay overnight or not. That might be something you want to check into, but I definitely know that you can spend the night on the ship if you are in either Boys or Girl Scouts. I want to point out to you that on these tours, not every part of it is essential to move on with the tour, and this is going to be one of those points. Sometimes it's going to take you in a room where you're just going to tour it and then you're going to go right back out of that room before you continue on. This is one of those rooms. The engine room, you're just going to go in it long enough to tour it and then you're going to go right back up the stairs. But for some, this might not be something you want to do because of the grates in the floor. You can see down, and some people don't do well with that, and that's totally fine. So just be aware that not every piece of the tour is essential. It's not necessarily something you have to go through to get to the next point. This one is the same as well. You had to go down a spiral staircase, you made a circle, and then you went up another spiral staircase. It's just getting you to where you can see as much as possible, but it's not necessarily leading you to an endpoint. As you can see here on the wall is a map of the ship with the color-coded tour. So if for some chance you are getting lost or you don't know where you might be going, those are available to you, as well as these stickers on the walls. Being on the ship and in the ship for quite a few hours. This is our last staircase, our last climb to get us back to where we needed to be to get off the ship. One thing I need to point out to y'all is that we are here in the South. It is very hot. Not every part of the inside of this ship is going to be air conditioned, so make sure you keep that in mind when you are going on a tour. Right here at the end, we started losing energy. It started getting hot, and today wasn't necessarily a hot day, so just keep that in mind. Keep your temperature in mind as well. So here we are leaving the ship. It was a great day. It took a few hours, but it was fun. It was something to do. We did it as a group. I haven't done this since I was actually in school. So it was fun to come back and see things that I remembered, see things that are new, and just kind of connect with history a little bit and just having fun. Definitely encourage you to take a tour of the USS Alabama and the USS Drum if you find yourself in the Mobile area. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. That way you will be here for my next video. I hope to see you then. Bye.